Okay, so here we are. We're about to take some notes by looking at this photo and analyzing some of the compositional techniques that the photograph has. So we want to analyze these photos and we want to be specifically looking for the use of lighting, rule of thirds, leading lines, and perspective. So the first thing, let's just take a look at the lighting. Do we notice any type of dramatic lighting going on here? How is the photographer capturing the lighting? What do we notice about this? Well, to take notes, you're going to go over, you guys know you have some of these tools. I know you've used Draw It before, but you have your pen tool where you can draw, make marks. You have your eraser tool, so you can actually erase that mark. But even if you want to do it even easier, over here there's a little button, delete. If you want to erase the drawing, you can just delete the whole thing. You can erase everything. But the tool that I think will be most useful for taking notes is just adding your text. So if I click the text, I can then change the size of the text by scrolling up or down. But the nice feature is you see this notes box here. That's where I want you to actually take your notes. So you're going to, where you see this little cross, that's going to help you. You're going to drag that over and you can make your text box a little bit bigger so it fills. And then you can start typing. I'm going to make my text font a little bit smaller and I'm going to make it black. And then I'm actually going to hit my enter key a couple times and I'm going to start taking some notes. So as far as lighting is concerned, I noticed that there is dramatic lighting coming from the surface of the water. I also noticed that the photo was taken or edited in black and white, and that's creating a very high contrast. It's creating this dramatic effect. So as far as lighting is concerned, the artist is deciding to make the photo black and white. Now let's think about rule of thirds. Well, if I'm not sure, maybe I can actually draw on the photo and that will help me. Maybe I can draw those guidelines. So I'm going to go over to my pen tool and I'm just going to try, this isn't going to be perfect or pretty, but I'm going to try to draw those rule of thirds lines. And this will help me. Remember, there's 2 horizontal lines across, 2 vertical lines. And at those intersections, there should be points of interest. Or your main objects are going through these lines. So these lines are being intersected by your main focal point, which we see for this photo, the whale, his tail. And on the left-hand side, we see the divers. So do we think the rule of thirds is utilized in this photo? Absolutely. I'm going to go back over to my notes. And I'm going to say rule of thirds, yes. Leading lines. Do we notice any leading lines? Again, if you want to use your pen tool to maybe mark up the photo, you can do that. I'm seeing lines here. I'm seeing lines created by the waves of the divers. I'm seeing a line kind of created here and here. My eyes kind of follow this. I see a line over here. But do I necessarily see leading lines? I don't think so. So I'm going to go back over to my text. Leading lines, not used. And then perspective. This one's easy. From what perspective is the camera? If I'm the photographer and I'm pretending I took this photo, where was I? The perspective of the photo was underwater. Closest to the whale's tail. So that would be a good example of how you could take some notes or analyze each of these photos. When you're done, just click submit